Top 10 starts now. Greetings, fellow goobers. We're here, and like I said earlier, we're doing a top 10 video. We wanted to have a bit of I wanted to do a discussion more instead of playing games this week. So we decided, why not list our top 10 favorite games? All right, and so I'm gonna start this segment off by asking Triplesix here, whom you are all familiar with at this point. He's in almost all my videos with me. He's a co-pilot now, basically. And you got to put your hat back on. That's nice.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway,
had to check how I was looking.
So I asked him to make up a list of his favorite top 10 games of all time. So here they are, starting with number 10.
From Sega, Bubsy, and it has a really long name. In Claws Encountered of the Third Kind. That is his full name.
Bubsy in Claws Encountered.
Claws Encounters of the
Third Kind. Clever.
Yeah.
Because Bubsy's a cat, if you've never heard of this character.
Bubsy probably influenced my life to become a cat person. And fully, I own 3 cats at home. It was probably like my childhood engraved with that game and all the cats we ever owned. Frick, this game came out 1993. It was a 2D platformer like the Mario series. I bet you're all really familiar with it. You run in a direction, you jump on all the obstacles, and it makes it really fun. Now, what made this one really catch my heart was the simplistic, fun, artful direction. It was bright. You captured yarn balls, and you defeated UFOs, and went to the carnival. Like, there was a whole bunch of weird, fun stuff in there. You rode, like, at the carnival. That was probably one of my favorites. There's, like, fun houses, merry-go-rounds, and if anything touched you, like a car or a carrot, you would die in some kind of really fun comedic effect. Like, I'm pretty sure you split in half on a couple.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
It was pretty animated in your deaths.
Yeah, so it had a lot of really, like, fun things. Now, like, what really kicks me back into it and why it made my list is all my fun encounters with the game with my family members. Like this one here, growing up, he was definitely included. But I have to say, I gotta point out my mom. We had many Bubsy gaming sessions.
Yeah?
And I don't think we ever beat it to this date. I might have in my own time, I really don't remember. But every time I get to about the railroad, no, not the railroad, the train, the desert train. I
don't know if I even recall that level.
That was the biggest hurdles of obstacles. It was like, at points of the game, it was such a blind luck of where you would kind of end up. Like, you would jump from the top of the stage, glide, like, so far. And you're like, fingers crossed, I don't hit anything and die and screw this up in a terrible, terrible way. Oh.
Now, do you remember the plot of this game? What was the whole goal?
You had to defeat Wooly.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he was. That's the hardest thing, because I don't ever think I beat it. Like, there's the thing. So it's just, I could go through a couple of the levels. Like, you started off in a peaceful village mountaintop. Only had a couple of houses. Kind of remind me of like Sweden or something like that in the springtime. Then we travel into, usually every level had 1, 2, 3 acts, and then you're on to the new stage.
Yeah.
And then so it'd be, first was the valley, Switz, Denny, and all that jazz.
Right.
Moved on to the carnival, then you moved. Ooh. That's it.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
No more for the levels.
No more.
But
he doesn't want to give away the whole game.
Yeah, like, you gotta play it. It's bright, it's awesome, it's colorful, like,
probably hard to find unless you maybe have a Raspberry Pi or
some kind of form. I bet there's some
or
kind
if you
of
just have it,
platform you could buy it on. Yeah. There's tons of different ways to get your hands on it. Number 10. That many, okay?
Bubsy.
And just remember, it was here for a while. Gotcha. Okay.
Number 9.
One down. Now we got 9, and Ooh, from the GameCube, also on the PlayStation 2. Best soundtrack of a game, and it kept me still singing it to this day.
What's the game?
Need for Speed Underground 2.
Okay.
Okay, on my list you'll find out there's a lot of number 2s. I don't know why, but like
weird.
5 of my things are probably number 2s.
Usually sequels suck.
Oh, this what kept me coming back to this game is the soundtrack. So good. Like there are so many different good things. Like one of my favorites was Snoop Dogg, and he did this old song with, I think it was the Eagles. Don't shoot me if I got it wrong, but the song is called Riders on the Storm. Frickin' hands down my favorite tune on there. But there was so many other ones. Like there's so much Godsmack and a whole bunch of
heavier
everything
stuff.
Like to the window, to the wall, to the sweat. Yeah, that song.
Okay,
like all
whatever.
those are on those good classics. So it's a simple racing game. You can choose from all the good classics of cars, like Volkswagens, Audis, you know it all.
Yeah.
I always ended up, after I unlocked it, the Audi TT. That was
it?
That's
That was your
the car
go-to?
in my heart.
That was
It's still my favorite car. I love to just like soup it up, put those wide body kits and everything, and race around Bayview.
Okay.
Is what the city was called. It's kind of like California. Bunch of cool like drag. You go, well, not drag queens. Bunch of
drag
drag
races.
Yeah. But you go on like highways and stuff. Like you just hit ridiculous speeds. It kept you tuned in. And for that era at the GameCube, like it was a beautifully visual game. It was dark,
Okay.
but it was bright. It handled everything moving really fast.
Yeah.
So it was like, in all, the only sports racing game I'll probably ever play and enjoy in my life.
Need for Speed 2.
Yes. Underground 2.
Nice.
Underground. Because there's
Oh,
Need
there's
for
another
Speed
one?
2. There's probably like 7 Need
Yeah.
for Speed 2s, but
I think I had,
this
like-
is Underground 2.
I think I had like High Stakes or something. If no.
That one was probably like the PS1 era, but
Yeah. No, it was definitely that.
yeah, this one sold like so sold. Such a good racing game. I hate all the other ones. Just really all the other ones. Just can't
Yeah.
do it.
Screw
Alright.
racing games.
Number 8. This one on my list is going to be very unknown to a lot of people. The game is called Child of Eden.
Never heard
It
of
is a predecessor. Is that the right word? Came
Come
after.
before. Oh yeah, you're right.
It comes
Predecessor.
after,
after.
another game titled Rez. Rez was a very cool visual game, and Child of Eden evolved around that. Like, Rez was a very plain visual game, where Child of Eden stepped it up. It was like, say, 1 to like a 13.
What? Really?
Yeah, visually.
That's
like,
crazy.
This game doesn't have much of a story at all. It's very simplistic.
Okay, but so like,
What is it?
I've never even heard of it.
played
I've
it.
never seen anything of this. What
do you
what
do?
is the plot? What do you do? What are you trying to accomplish in this game?
Okay, so it kind of plays with visuals and music. It's like a rhythm action shooter.
Okay.
Very visual though, very visual. Like if you a little and if you that's your kind of thing, like wow, opens up a whole new world. Okay, there's a very simple story. Ladies giving birth.
There.
And it goes, that's it. That's
Once
the end
upon
of
a
the story.
time, baby.
Oh yeah, you have to progress through it. Like, there's only 5 levels in the game. Only 5.
So it's not a very big game?
No, you could probably sit down and beat it in 30 minutes.
Oh.
It's a very short game if you know
30
how
minutes.
to play.
Oh, if you okay.
Like, well, even like if you're just learning, you could probably still do it in that. Beyond out there, so it's like the best way to play: headphones on and dark room, and
Nice.
you literally just let the game do it. Your controller vibrates to the music. You're just sucked into it, and you become this world around you. And
Okay.
like it was really cool. You could probably get it for very cheap nowadays. Like,
Well, you have it then, I'm assuming.
no, I actually probably do, but Longest story is probably at my friend's house.
Oh, okay.
So I could get my hands on it possibly in the future.
You'll have to show me
love
sometime.
to show the world.
Yeah.
I can definitely show you the earlier version of Rez, which
Okay.
was a great start to the series.
Yeah.
But like I said, Child of Eden took it to the next level. No one knows of it. No one knows anything of what I say.
Do you know this game?
Yep.
If you do, comment and let us know what you think of it.
Number 7.
Sept for the French.
Okay. Bonjour.
No, no.
We're not. We're just.
We're Canadian, but we don't French.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I speak
French
Canadian. I apologize.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. It's very close to my heart. I have tattoos of the series on my body.
I think I know
it's
this.
the only game that's going to make this list of this series. Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask.
Now, I have to interrupt for a moment just to say I'm surprised that because of your love of this like franchise, if you will, that it's coming in at such a high number of number 7.
Because the Zelda as a whole is amazing. I love it to pieces.
But that's what I'm saying. I figured
The games are great masterpieces,
Yes.
but they're not such a big point of my gaming love, where I've truly loved
Okay.
It's hard
I think-
to explain.
I think I kinda
where
know
it
what
was
you're
just like some of the Zelda games were good, they're fantastic, and they hold true to time.
Yeah.
But I find that other things hit my niches in my personality, my gaming,
Yeah.
that I could cut off a lot of them on the list. I would love to just have Zelda as a series
Okay.
or a franchise, but I had to narrow it down. Like, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah.
have 100 Zelda games on my list, and no one's
No.
going to want to know
Yeah.
anything about it.
Right.
But
Okay.
I put on Majora's Mask because it has the greatest atmosphere of all of them. It is the first visually, dark Zelda. It's a really fun one. So what I like most about it is the 3-day system.
Yeah.
So after the 3 days were allotted, you have to start back from the beginning. It kept large milestones of progress, but to beat the game, you had to beat all of the bosses in those 3 days to finish the story, and you fight the final boss, the Skull Kid, who you meet at the very beginning. You know he's the enemy since day one of 3.
So it's not even a Ganon
yeah, it's
or
really...
Ganondorf.
No, he's not. It's not even set in the universe of Hyrule. It's Termina,
Okay.
where it's like an alternate Hyrule, kinda. I love the book because this is one of the splits, what it made after that
Yeah,
section.
I have that book.
Yes.
I have
think
that
we've
book.
touched upon it before in the past, maybe just me and you talking about it.
Probably.
But it's like that book, it just hits that one, and there's so much good feels to it for a nice action RPG kind of game. You go around to the mountains, you become a Goron, you become a Zora, you become this.
Yeah.
And the masks,
It just
really-
makes things interesting.
they're really fun, and you have a little journal book. You follow it through. It's I gotta talk to they give you a time frame, and that would be where they're questing you lined up through the 3-day cycle.
Yep.
Because some of it was very intricate, and learning as a kid, that takes a hard toll on you, trying to learn that. Most days nowadays, they're oh, got me a guide. It's only been out for a day. I can't figure it out. I have to learn how to beat it today.
Yeah.
No.
Or you could just go online and watch it on YouTube and just be here's a
Tube,
walkthrough
where you're
Oh.
watching us.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Watching us. Yeah.
So many good things. I think I fully finished that game maybe 3 times where I've gotten everything.
Wow.
Or it's I like to come back to the Zelda series in pieces and
Yes.
play them a lot.
Nice.
I really love I do love the series. But gaming wise, this is the only one that's gonna make my list today.
Nice.
So
Nice. Number 6.
yeah. Growing up game, I'm still with the series. I still play one of these games. We're going into Pokemon Gold and Silver, not Red, Blue, and Yellow. Those are fantastic starts to it, but once again, we're in number 2 of the series, the second generation. It was twice the game as Red, Blue, and Yellow. Just
Okay.
because it was twice the size. In the first one, you went into Kanto, which is the original place of like Pallet Town and all your familiar places and your familiar Pokemon. And it introduced you to a new generation of Pokemon and a new region.
Okay.
But it also included all the old stuff. So you had that really nice, perfect mix of both old and new kind of intertwining together.
That's good. Yeah.
So it was like, it wasn't too much to take in. When they send you out a new Pokemon game nowadays, you're like, here's 150 new guys. But where the hell did they come from? Or like all that kind of stuff.
What are they?
Like, at least like they try to integrate and move it in like with movies and so forth. That it was just the greatest RPG adventure that you could have with your little pet friends. Like, honestly, my favorite guy would have to probably be, well, I would have a team, but I really like Heracross a lot. With his little metal, his big horn. He's a big beetle.
Oh, yeah.
He's really cool.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, he makes my team every like goddamn time, and that's why I always specify silver first, because you only get Heracross, I believe, in the silver version.
Okay.
And I have to pay respects to the remakes they did a few years ago of both Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Okay.
Bought a DS just for that, so I can relive my Silver adventures, because that remake is spot on. Like, it just took it from an old, uncolored, boring Game Boy game to this beautiful, expansive, and it still tries to bring you in and teach you even newer generations than those two.
I mean,
so
like,
as an older like Pokemon fan, learning some of the new stuff wasn't as hard. Like, and I was kind of getting familiar with it, and I learned it in pieces. So. Right. I don't have as much like, I can't remember 500 guys or 700 or I think
whatever they're up to now.
I think today's date is actually like 851 or 852. We can maybe check that at the end and help fill it in.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, that was monumental. That
the only
took
Pokemon
years.
game I have for the 3DS is Pokemon X or Y. One of those two.
Oh, that's even newer than mine. Yeah, that came like after mine. Like, in this one alone, I probably have. I remember my save slot was over 400 hours old on just Soul Silver.
Jeez,
just this newer one.
Man, that's crazy.
What happens is there's a battling section in it where it gives you a whole bunch of just random guys, all the same level. They pick all the attacks, so you're like, you gotta choose 3 of these guys and battle like a tower pretty much of enemies, of other 3s. And when you defeat one enemy, you could take one of theirs and trade it for yours. So you could replace one guy per enemy you defeated and make this cool team and rise to the top.
Cool.
And that was probably what I go back to now, where it's just like, I'm done the story, but I could keep going back to battle because they did it so well.
Right.
And I gotta say, thank you, Nintendo, for Pokemon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And which brings us now to number 5.
Yes, we're now down to one hand. This is not number 2 in the series. This is Super Mario Brothers 3.
It's number 3 of the series.
Number 3, not at number 3. This is the only game on my list that is actually older than myself. I am 27 years old right now. This game, I wrote down the year, is actually, I think, 2 years older than me. Yep, 88. So it is 2 years older than me. It's almost at its 30th birthday for this game. Once again, family has brought this game stronger. Growing up, having it at such a young age, like, this is probably the first video games I ever played in my life.
I mean, let's be honest.
The Super Mario
series is typically, I think, almost the first game everybody's played, unless you're like, you predate Mario. You know what I mean?
Or if like you're new into the gaming and you haven't explored the universe, what's actually out there, because there's tons of younger audience that doesn't know the greats of the past.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, my first game ever was Mario Bros, but for the Nintendo, not Super Nintendo, not
same.
Mario Bros, Duck Hunt, Mario Bros and Duck Hunt.
That one, beauty of it. Yeah, I love this game. It's once again ahead of its time when it came out. Like, compare that to another Nintendo game, they don't hold any like.
Well, like
it's hard to match it up against anything. Like, that was the pinnacle of the NES.
You think so?
Yeah. That game was the best NES game.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like, ever. Of all time.
Of NES.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
like of all. Because, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, that's a pretty bold statement right there.
Like, I pay homage to a lot of greats, like hockey games and stuff like that. Like, I had tons of fun experiences. But I could come back to Mario 3 today and probably be in under, like, 20 minutes getting flutes and just doing it normally. Like, I could put up a good time. I'm no, like, professional player, but I probably play this once a year. Like, that's how often I come back to it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like,
that's pretty good. That's more than I go back to older games that I would
going
love.
back. Just, like, little niche tricks you do. Like, when you get to the very end of a level and you know, like, that curtain's coming, the black screen. If you're running full tilt and you jump at that box at the very first possible moment, always get a star. Do that 3 times in a row. There's 5 lives.
There it
Damn. Yeah, little tips. And there's 3 flutes, I believe.
Yep.
2 in World 1, castle, and behind the block thing. And number 3 is hidden behind the sand. You have to break it with a hammer. You can't see that portion of the map unless you break it. There you go.
There you go. So if
write
you ever
that
play
in
Super
your
Mario 3,
Game Genie.
write it down. Do it.
Yeah.
So number 4.
Yes. This one.
It's like we're getting down here to his like.
These are like now like the best games to me ever. Okay. This will be a lot of competitive, regular, casual. You probably have your own favorite in the series, Smash Brothers, but mine is Melee.
Yes.
All 25 characters of goodness. This game, I've spent way longer. The only thing that probably competes with Melee is Halo 2. That's about the only thing that'll compete with time invested in these games. Oh, like Melee. Gotta say, I have no favorite character.
You just
you don't just all the characters.
You don't just like hop on Kirby and
like,
just.
If I want to be mean to people, I'll pick like Marth or Jigglypuff. It's like people could kick my ass, but
you're pretty versatile with like everybody.
Any character.
Yeah.
I'll beat you with any character.
But what is it about Melee or however?
Why it's the best one?
Why to you?
It's the perfect speed, the perfect mechanics. When you get farther in it, they did things like tripping and weird things like that. They added stupid, unnecessary things into the game that
just kind of
didn't
enhance the experience almost.
It just is gonna sound weird, but it's like it made it kind of like casual, but more luck casual to win. With Melee, it was skill and partial luck. Okay. Whereas in newer ones, you can get screwed over by just game mechanics, where I'm gonna go knock your guy off the edge and your guy slips and then the opponent hits you.
Yeah.
What did that contribute to your game versus something that never slips and does anything like that?
Yeah.
It's just you got a strong cast of levels. Like they always remake all the levels.
Yep.
The Hyrule Castle, Final Destination, all of those. Like it's just the multiplayer of it. It was just perfect. Like 64 would be second place in the series, but
there it is.
Melee gets it. Like, you had so much to do outside of multiplayer. They gave you adventure, events, all-star mode, everything to get your skill up. And this is the game that started... In an earlier video, I mentioned the Dick Show. And he just raises his leg like that and holds it.
Big fan of Smash Bros. As well. Gotta give love to the N64 version. I think that's the original one, isn't it?
Props, yep.
Yeah, and then, you know, from there on, they're just fun. They've just been fun, so...
Yep.
Good job there on the Smash Bros, Nintendo.
Yeah, that's another one we thank you for.
Number 3!
Alright.
We're down to the nitty-gritty here, the top 3.
This is where we delved more of my life into. Halo 2, both the remastered and the original, it's the same exact game on both, just different skins. This game originally came out 2004. I caught on the year after 2005. I was 15 at the time. That was my first online console. It was the first place where I could play with all my school friends and be like these super cool dudes and all. But yeah, I spent countless hours with or without friends on that game. Yep, loner status here. Remembering back in the past, before the Halo 2 servers shut down, quite a few years ago. I saved my stats on like PhotoBucket or one of the things of the past, like some ancient stuff, and it logged over 6,000 matchmaking matches. They usually range from about like 10 minutes apiece, and that's just matchmaking. In the prime of Halo 2's multiplayer career, I love to play Team Slayer. Anyone who's joined me in that era of like 2005, 2006, you'll know that Team Slayer was where teams came to show up. It had a ranking system 1 to 50. Anything that was 40 and above was cheaters.
Oh,
it was common law, It was 40 and above was cheaters, and anywhere from like about 32 to about like 38, 39 was the real players. These were like MLG Kings and all that jazz. Like, it was big deal at that time of there. But as soon as you went over there, you're a cheater. Sorry, like you can't do it because everyone else cheats at that point. So it's like, it's not a win-win situation. But anyone unfamiliar with the Halo series, there are like 5 first-person shooter games, 2 like real-time strategy games. We're all about the first-person shooters here. It was a very large arsenal of weapons. There was always things to do. It was still a little early before they introduced a lot of the vehicles. Forge, where you got to make your own Halo maps, where I've done quite a few with them. That game, though, it's just like, nowadays you jump in, you're not going to get the full experience, unfortunately. I would love to sell Halo 2 to everyone to come back and like come play with me, but you won't get that experience. It's just, you can't grow with that community at that time. It's now you're going to have elite players, low-level players, and not much in between. And if you
it's probably not going to be too fun, is what you're trying to say. You're either going to get spanked or you're going to be, you know...
It's a big learning curve. Yeah. It's a very big learning curve. Thankfully, with the remasters on the Xbox One, you could play 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together on the same disc. It was very great. That was the one reason I bought my Xbox in the first place, was to play
just so you could have
that series, because Halo 2 was where it was at. But they're going to mix you with all the other generations, and learning 4 games instead of 1 game is really hard. So... if you support me and my Halo 2 love, I'm all with you, brothers. We can get you. But that's
chest bump.
It.
There it is.
And I'll just shimmy back. Alright.
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay. Okay, just so you know, my top 4 has all been sequels of the second.
Okay.
So, because Melee was the second in it, Halo 2 was obviously the second. Guess what's coming up next? It's number 2 of the Pikmin series.
Pikmin.
Yes.
This dude is crazy for Pikmin.
Yes, I love me some Pikmin. Anyone unfamiliar with it, they are these adorable plant-like creatures on a microscopic level. Red, blue, and yellow are the OG. Purple, white are the new into number 2, and they released a couple more in number 3. We're not talking about those ones, okay. So we're going to talk about number 2.
But
so
why is there
5
why
colors.
is there the different colors? What do they represent? Because why was there 3 in the first, and then why did they add 2 more? Like, what is that about?
Pikmin 2 expanded on everything Pikmin 1 brought to the table. So, red, fire, strength. They are the strongest, and they can resist fire. Nothing can hurt it. Blue, water. They are the weakest. I don't know why they're the weakest, but they're the only ones that can swim in water, and that's a very good thing. Yellow is electricity.
Okay.
Because the color system there. And they fly higher when you throw them. Okay. Because in Pikmin, you usually have an army of 100 Pikmin. You micromanage them in different ways, like collecting supplies, fighting enemies, fighting bosses. It's all about getting treasure in the end. Okay. You get loot. In number 2, it was literally a reward system. Mm-hmm. You brought X back to the ship. It gives you X in coin value. To beat game, you have to hit X number, and then you go through the rest of it. Okay. So it's a very straightforward game. Beautiful and original. Like, for a new IP that came out at that time, like you had to compete versus like Luigi's Mansion and anything else, like that whole era. That's just like say Nintendo alone. That one stood the test of being something truly unique and bringing something new to the table, and it captured my heart from the first installment to this one. But why I pick number 2 over the other ones is it expanded on everything the first one brought in, as I mentioned there.
Yeah.
It brought in the 2 new colors, purple and white. Purple had no immunities, but they were super strong. 1 purple equaled 10 Pikmin.
Okay.
So 10 times the power, which is awesome. You could lift some really heavy stuff with very little.
Right.
And white were poison resistant.
Okay.
And if they were eaten, they poisoned the enemy.
Oh, okay.
So that was their techniques, but they're weak as hell, but really fast. So they were actually weaker than blue.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, as it lined up.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
So you go in through these beautiful worlds, undergrounds, like it's like say exploring a garden and
But like
a microscopic view. Like say you're looking at a tomato plant, and a tomato plant could be huge, and it has like reminiscence of our world on a whole different world. Like the Pikmin could have been real here on Earth, because the things they find, like say a battery, like an Energizer battery. We're not sponsored, by the way. Energizer is not paying us, but that kind of stuff. I think the actual battery was Duracell, so we have fair sides here on both of them. So you never know. Maybe one of those people like us, yeah. Yeah, you go through these beautiful, unique zones. Like when you're underground, there's no time, because in the game you are on like a day system. You start out off in the morning. When it hits nighttime, it's too dangerous to stay out there, so you're forced to retire. So your time on the planet is very limited.
Okay.
And that's where you go collect all your food, your enemies, go kill them all. But you can jump into like little sub levels, which is dungeons, and they are just lined with really cool, unique, fun design is the word I'm kind of looking for. It's like puzzles meets the Pikmin managing and love of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've never played.
Oh.
I don't even think I've ever watched you play it.
Probably not, because it's a one-player game for most of it. There is one like 2-player mode in it.
Well, when did it come out? Like the initial, like the original?
Number 2 came out in 2004, and I believe number 1 came out in 1999 or 2000.
Okay.
I didn't quite look that up, but that was about usually the span in between games.
Yeah.
I want to say it's roughly about that area, so maybe 2 or 3 years older than that one.
Okay.
Get it on the Nintendo store. You can get it on your Wii or your Wii U, or if you want to go a little older, like myself, I still have them on physical copies of the GameCube. So it's like
this
I'm
dude
never
is
gonna
nutso for the GameCube.
Yeah, I love it. That's probably my Christmas this year.
Nice.
Gonna get more of it.
To the final video.
It's the final
game
number. Yeah, we can't do the.
Oh.
It's the last one, man. Oh, don't.
The final game, the number 1 Triplesix favorite game.
I'm ready. Everyone has probably such high expectations for
it's
me
probably
to choose
like,
this game, and they're like,
please, you're
Diablo 2.
Diablo 2. He goes with a
Diablo 2 is my all-time favorite game. I could write like a college course on this game. Like, where the hell do I start? Let's set up the settings of the place. You start in a place called Sanctuary, where the primevals have taken over the world, where it kind of evil controls all.
Okay.
Where there is 3 main enemies, which are the primevals: Diablo, Baal, and Mephisto. What is it? The Lord of Terror, the Lord of Hate, and the Lord of Destruction. As we go into it, this is just like lore. Like, I get excited about it. So this is
he wants to play right now.
Yeah, really. If you never got into the Diablo 2 series, it is a top-down action RPG. You play with your mouse. It's very like fast-paced. You got to survive. There's very challenging modes in it. You go through 5 acts of hell, which are fantastic.
Yep.
Like 5 acts, you have the choice. Because when I say Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, is the complete version of it, which is
Okay.
the expansion, but you only play Diablo 2 now with the expansion of it. It's like forced on it. So
Okay.
you go through 5 acts of godly, like, angels versus demons, gore, blood, like, destruction. You get
All
to
the
play
things we look for in video
of
games.
7 characters. Like, my favorite ones, I'm not gonna name them all because hell. My favorite 2, the sorceress, because you can teleport at the speed of light, and it was the best to farm for new gear, because in the end game of Diablo, it was like all the RPGs at their end games now, where it's like WoW or whatever the most current craze is. You have end gear, where it's just you destroy things. So the sorceress helped you step into that spot, and then took over my favorite character, the Amazon.
Okay.
The Amazon could usually run either a bow or a javelin, and then the other skill tree was evasion techniques.
Okay.
My end game Amazon was something called a Barazon.
Okay.
Where I would literally ditch the bow and arrow, because I always preferred that over the javelin, but I would ditch that stuff to transform into a bear.
Well, hey.
And frickin' just punch the crap out of my enemies. Because why not? Into the
Because bears are strong.
Yeah.
Let's just throw it out there.
Bears are furious. So the in-depth mechanics of the bear creature was I had twice as much health as the next character. So trying to kill me was hard.
Yes.
And then with the Amazon evasion tree, you had 75 chance to dodge everything. So
that's
you
pretty
can
good
only
odds.
hit me a quarter of the time, and I have such a ridiculous amount of health that you're probably never gonna kill a Barazon.
Yeah, that's
Which is
pretty
why I
crazy.
liked it. It was
That's pretty
endgame
crazy.
stuff.
That's pretty,
like
dang.
it goes deeper and deeper. Like they all have fun. One thing I want to take out of the Diablo universe and bring it with me on life one day is there's a rune system in Diablo 2 where if you combine certain runes, they make words. Now, I want to get a cryptic message out of these runes written.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I would love to take out of that game? Turn into a fucking bear.
Yeah, that would be
That
number
would be
one.
so awesome.
Yeah, but I
People,
definitely...
you road rage and then you just turn into a bear and go maul the asshole that cut you off or something. I don't know. Anyway.
It's
but yeah, no,
bananas.
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, like that little cryptic message, and like no one's gonna really know unless you're like into it, like myself, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have in-depth knowledge to even know, to recognize first those are the Diablo runes, and then to recognize after that it's a little deep apart, that it's actually a rune word. Go to research it, and it could say it's probably something terrible, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell anyone,
No.
because this is my own kind of cryptic thing. I'm talking to my artist, and we're gonna make this happen, and it's gonna be real. So
Nice.
that's the one piece I'm gonna take out of the Diablo universe and bring it with me throughout life. Even if I stop playing that game at some certain time. The last time I touched it was maybe about 6 months ago. I was playing on a couple private servers because I can't go back to Battle.net. Battle.net's been ruined for a couple of years now, probably like over 10. This game came out in the wonderful year of 2000. So this game's 17 years old.
That's an old game.
And it stands true to time. I still play this. It's still installed on my laptop computer to this day.
Nice.
So you never know. Maybe if anyone's interested in an audience, maybe shoot me a couple messages and we can get something started
hook
again.
you
I
up.
would love to jump back in the Diablo series. And with it, you won't need any CD keys because it's a private server.
There you go.
So you'd really...
So hop on.
yeah.
It'll
Come
be
on.
fun. It'll be fun. So there it is.
Yeah, I want you
Diablo 2. His favorite game.
the top of the line. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome, man.
A lot of talking,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
No, that's good. It's good to know.
Mhm.
All your favorite games, man.
Welcome-
Top 10 anyway, not
Welcome
all.
to the life of me. I probably came in today with like 25 games, and narrowing it down to this was
Yeah.
frickin'
See,
hell.
this video is going to be long already,
Oh,
so if
yeah.
we kept going, I could only imagine.
Mhm.
So, but if you like this video, subscribe, like it,
Mhm.
and come back.
Come on, get in.
Learn
here.
more about
Come back in
Triplesix and myself and
Yeah.
any other guests I may have in the future.
Yeah.
Because it's good to know who you're talking to, who you're watching, who you're hanging out with. And yeah, so on that note, we'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Good night.